Hey y'all, it's your buddy 16-Bit Gambit coming at you with another video. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to create a game runner node, a central node that based on where you are or what your inputs are, will be running in the background to load nodes or scenes, music, files, whatever you need in order to progress through your game from opening it up to shutting it down. So we're going to need to go ahead and make a couple of initial pages that will be there at the very beginning when you're starting the game. So the first I'm going to work on is going to be a splash page. So I'm going to hit plus to add a new node. I'm going to add a 2D scene. And then to that real quick, I'm going to add a couple of sprite 2Ds. This could be whatever you would like on the page to illustrate your brand, your name, whatever you want. So on this splash page, first I'm just going to add a background to it. And then I'm also going to go ahead and add, oh, I gotta make sure I put in the right spot. No, that's cool. And on top of that one, I'm going to go ahead and add the name. Alright, now for both of these real quick, I'm going to go ahead and set the offset, or at least turn off centered. And I'm going to make sure in my project settings that my window size is 1280 by 720. I wonder why that keeps changing. Anyway, I'm also going to go ahead and set it to full screen for whenever I start demonstrating some of these items. And it looks like I need to turn the zoom on in this one real quick. So transform, scale 2, then we're good. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add an animation player. And the music that I'm going to be having for this one, in my case, is about 16 seconds long. So in the animation player, I'm going to go ahead and add a new animation called Splash. For the background, I'm going to go ahead and for this animation, I'm going to go to modulate, and I'm going to set it so that it's all the way blacked out for the first second or so. So I'm going to create a track by hitting this key icon right here on the inspector. And inside of the animation player, I'm going to set this to about 15 seconds with my stats at about 1 second. Cool. So at the 1 second mark, I'm going to go back to the modulate, and I'm going to turn this all the way back up so you can see that background. I'm going to lock that one. And now I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so I can see the end of the animation at 13 seconds. I'm going to lock that one again, and then I'm going to have this one go all the way white. I'm going to lock that. Okay, now for this other sprite 2D, I'm going to start with, once again, visibility, modulate. I'm going to go back to RGB and turn the A all the way down so that you cannot see it. I'm going to confirm that one again at the 1 second mark, and 2 seconds. I'm going to turn this one back. Cool. So if I press play real quick, starting from the beginning, cool. All right, so that's the visual part of this animation. And the last part real quick, at least for this demo, is we're going to add an audio stream player. And I'm going to go to my music folder and drop in splash music. Go drag that one up above animation player. And we're going to go ahead and add a script to this one after we change its name to splash page. I'm going to go ahead and save this node real quick, or this scene. And our scenes. Cool. Now we're going to add a script to this guy. So we're going to need to go ahead and define this one itself as a variable. On ready var splash page. I guess we don't need to. It's just, I guess it's good habit. Then we're going to add the audio stream player. So on ready var player. Oh, sorry, the animation player. And we're going to create a custom signal to communicate with our game runner. And the signal is going to be called logo enabled, or logo ended. Cool. Okay, so inside the ready function, we're going to go ahead and add two items. We're going to say on ready player dot play splash, and we're going to add audio stream player 2D dot play, and that should be good as far as starting up. So what's going to happen is whenever this node first opens up, the animation is going to play, the audio is going to play. Also, for these sort of screens, it's always good to be able to skip through it whenever you're a returning player. So we're going to add the options if you press any of the action buttons inside of the process function. So if input.isActionPressed attack, if input.isActionPressed run, if input.isActionPressed jump, go to end logo page function. And inside of the end logo page function, let's go ahead and change this one to splash page. I was debating which one to call it whenever I was doing my practice run. Stick with splash. So for the end splash page function, print splash ended, just so I can make sure that that one works properly. We're going to tell the audio stream player to stop. We're going to emit the signal logo ended, and then we're going to use the queueFree function in order to close this node. So I'm going to save this one real quick. Okay, so yeah, once again a little bit of a lag. I had to turn up the volume so that you could hear the music playing in the background. Yep, so that was the splash page. Going to hit save real quick, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a new scene. So it's going to be a 2D scene, and this one is going to be the start page. If I could spell anyway. And to the start page, we're once again going to add two sprites. So sprite 2D, sprite 2D. Going to add another animation player. And drag it up, put that one back down. Going to add another audio stream. Alright, going to add two controls. First one's going to be start menu, and the second control is going to be start options menu. Okay, so underneath of each of these is going to be a 9-patch rect. And inside that one is going to be a VBox container. And on this first one, we're going to have 4 buttons. So there's going to be the new game button, the continue button, the options button, and the exit button. Inside the options menu, just to illustrate this functionality, I'm only going to throw in there two. This is going to be a fake option one and then an exit menu button. So I'm going to name these ones for clarity real quick. So this is new game, continue, options, quit. And inside of the VBox container for the start options menu, there's just going to be the fake option one and exit. So I'm going to click over to the 2D view so you can see this. And let's go ahead and start adding the items. So for the very background, then we're going to add the working title. And I'm going to turn off centered for both of those. And it looks like we got to use a zoom or a scale of about 4 for all this stuff. So yeah, that filled it in. So those are all good. For the animation player, very similar to the previous one. I had a new animation called Start Page, whatever you want. Start Page Load, why not? So for the very background, very similar. We're going to go visibility, modulate, turn that all the way down for the first second. Create a track and lock that one. This animation, let's make it 3 seconds long with a snap every second. So in the first second, you can't see this one. The second second, you can. For the title in the first second, you won't be able to see it. The second second, you'll be able to see it. But by the end of the second second, you'll be able to see it. Okay, now for the start menu, we're going to start this with visibility turned off. And at the end of the animation, visibility turned on. And for the start options menu, visibility is going to be off the entire time. Off from the very beginning. Okay, so if I press play, we should be able to see this here. Cool. So, I'm going to go ahead and hit save and make this its own scene called Start Page. And inside of the scenes folder, Start Page, save. Now we're going to go ahead and add a script to this one. The Start Page script is going inside of the scripts folder. Real quick. Script, start, scenes, splash. Page. Alright, cool. So, start page. I'm going to define some variables real quick. On, ready, R, the node itself. Whoops, looking in the wrong node. Z, 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 Z. Going to the start page, starting over. At, on, ready, var, start page equals animation player, start menu, start options menu. Yeah, it should be good. So start menu, animation player, start menu, start options menu. So start menu will be that overall control, start options menu will be the control, and we're going to add a signal. This custom signal is going to be new game pressed for the new game button to signal up to the game runner that we're going to close this node and we're going to load up wherever the game first starts. Once this is done, we're going to be just dropping ourselves into the map mode, but this is to demonstrate the functionality. But you ought to take what you've seen here and apply it to other items for your game, whether you want to start and land inside of an animation or a menu or a dialogue, something like that. So when this is first open, we're going to start by saying that we want the animation player to play start page load. Then also, maybe I should make that one a variable. I'm kind of torn because I've got this for the illustration. Each of these nodes is going to have its own audio stream player. But once this is fully up and running, even the audio stream player I think is going to be good to run out of the actual game runner. So for here, I'll just put it here because it plays whenever I'm testing it and I'm showing you, but you know, its final location is going to be in the game runner and just the game runner. So to be illustrated. So we're going to go ahead and put music in there. I don't remember how long that one is, but it doesn't matter. Audio stream player dot play. That is good. And then we're not going to add anything to the function, but we are going to start adding. We're going to start connecting these buttons. So I'm going to click on the new game button. I'm going over to the node and on new game pressed. Then continue, going to do nothing now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and disable that guy. For options, button pressed, and quit, button pressed. Cool. And then option 1, I'm going to go ahead and disable that guy for now. And then for exit, we're going to add a function underneath that one as well. Cool. So real quick, I'm going to come over here and we're going to go ahead and build those two menus real quick. So with 9-patch rect, it's going to be the background. I'm just going to add the standard background I've been using for this game. This blue dude. And for those buttons, new game. If I could spell. Continue. Options. Quit. Option 1. And exit. Cool. Going to go ahead and add this window to the other 9-patch rect. Going to set that patch margin to 3 pixels. And I'm going to go back here. Layout, transform. For now, the scale is kind of wonky. Yeah, half seems about right. I think this is also kind of similar to that function I showed in a previous video for reading the window mode. So this is probably going to be something that becomes a variable that I send whenever I'm opening these nodes. So it's monitored centrally, the windowing mode, and then what zooms to apply. But for now, that's being demonstrated, it's going to be handled locally. So let's see, patch rect, vbox container, cool, my patch rect. Once I actually have options functionalities in here, the dimensions on this guy might probably change. I just couldn't really anticipate what I'd want in there. Probably going to have some sort of theme for the windows in case you want to change those. Probably a volume control. Aside from that, once I figure out a good list of things to put in there, I'll show that one in a later video. So I got those both made. I'm going to turn off the visibility for the Start Options menu. I'm going to go back to the script. And for the quit button, we're going to use this command right here. get_tree.quit. And this is going to quit all the way out of the game. For the options menu, see, start_menu, start options menu. So for the options button, start_menu visible equals false. Start options menu visible equals true. And then for the new game, test value, emit, new game pressed, start page.queueFree. So what this is going to do is it's going to tell the game runner node to proceed to the start of the game, and then it's going to say this page right here, it's going to queue free or close that node out. And exit. So exit's going to be the opposite of these two. So on exit, press start menu visible equals true. Options menu is false. So let's see. Define the page, animation player, start menu, start options menu, signal new game pressed, function ready, play the animation, play the audio. On new game pressed, print and emit new game pressed, signal new game pressed, start page.queueFree, start menu.visible is false, options invisible true. If you quit, then you quit out, and then on exit pressed, start menu visible is true. Okay, that should be pretty good. So we missed the animation because that little bit of a lag where I have to close and reopen the recorder. But this is the landing page. You can see that I've got the options button, so I can mess with the dimensions a little bit, but if I hit options, then we go to the options menu, and right now option 1 is disabled. If I hit exit, I go back, and if I was to hit new game right now, it would just be grayed out in the background. Yeah, it'd just be grayed out in the background. So I'm going to show that last, but if I hit quit, that's going to close the whole program overall. So I'm going to hit new game, this will go gray background. So now we're back in the interface, and the last item that we're going to add for this video is going to be the game runner node. And at some later point, this is probably going to get more complicated, and to keep the game runner node clean, I'm going to actually have a singleton off to the side that has lookup values based on things determined in the code. But for now, it's all going to be contained in the game runner node. So I'm going to go new scene, 2D scene, and I'm going to add just an audio streamer for now. And the reason being is, I think this is, in the final version, going to be the only audio streamer unless there's like a local noise or a local something being played in the game. But for now, we've got one in each of those nodes plus this one overall. So we're going to add an audio stream player 2D, and this one's name is going to change to Game Runner. So I'm going to save this scene real quick. Control S. Save Game Runner. I'm going to add its own script named Game Runner. That's going to be inside of scripts. Cool. So we're going to start with our state machine for the game itself. We're going to have startup, which for now is going to be pretty empty. We're going to have splash screen, which we just made. And we're going to have start screen, which we also just made. And then for now, we're going to have a map mode. So start, splash, startup, splash, start screen, map. Cool. Alright, so for variables that we're going to be cycling through while running this one, we're going to go ahead and have at onReadyVar current mode and then previous mode. And I'm going to use previous mode whenever I'm temporarily opening something on top of a node that I'm not closing. We're also going to, for being able to use variables for loading different nodes and different scripts, we're going to have current scene address, current scene pack, and current scene loaded, and then we're going to have current script address, current script loaded. Alright. We're also going to create variables for the splash, the start screen, and the map mode. So at onReadyVar splash mode start screen mode and map mode. So let's go to the script real quick. Splash page. Start page. And oh no, I was putting in the scripts instead of the scenes. Oh well. Splash page and start page. So those are good. We're going to create a variable for the game runner node itself. So on ready for game runner node. Maybe we should change those ones to node. Oh well, I'll know what it means. Game runner. And we're going to go ahead and have the audio stream player. So on ready, should I call it music? Audio player equals cool. Alright, so as soon as we're starting up, the first things that need to happen whenever your game is first booting up. On ready, set state, game mode equals start. And so inside of process, as of right now, we got nothing that's going to be running every second, but that's for now, maybe later. And we're going to have a function here called set state. So the new function is set state and it's going to receive a variable that it calls new mode, and it's going to compare that to whatever the current mode is. If current mode is equal to new mode, then it's going to return absolutely nothing. But if that is not the case and it doesn't exit out of this function after that check, it's going to set previous mode equal to current mode, and then current mode equal to new mode. Then for match current mode, game mode.startup, go to on startup. Game mode.splash screen, go to on splash screen. Game mode.start screen, go to on start screen. And then finally game mode.map, go to on map. So on startup, as of right now, the only essential thing that we're going to do is just start the splash screen. So function on startup, we got a tester right here that says print game initializing, set state game mode dot splash screen. Then on splash screen, function on splash screen, print loading splash screen, current scene address is equal to the address for the scene file for splash mode. We're then going to load it dynamically inside Godot by saying current scene packed equals load, then using the address for that scene as a packed scene, and then we're going to, next line down, current scene loaded equals, and then we're going to instantiate that one. Finally, we're going to set the game runner node destination. We're going to be adding that one to the scene tree, which means I need to adjust the name for the variable game runner node destination, so we just add that right underneath of the game runner node in the scene tree. And then finally, once we're dynamically loading that one, we're going to need to connect that signal. If all these scenes were open and added manually and they never left the table of contents or the scene tree whenever the game was running, I wouldn't need to be manually connecting these signals, but because I'm dynamically loading those items, once you get it in, you need to use this line of code right here to connect that custom signal. So current scene loaded dot connect, and then we're going to make sure that logo ended is the name that I used whenever I was typing that one out earlier. I think I changed it to splash ended. So let's go to splash page, and sure enough, got logo ended. So I'm going to change that one to splash ended just for fun. Splash ended, game runner, connect splash ended, and then we're going to, upon receiving that signal, go to on splash screen done. So the only thing that's going to be under on splash screen done right now is set state to start screen. So under on start screen, function on start screen, print load start screen node here, and we're going to use the same function. So we're going to be setting the variable equal to the address for that scene. We're going to load it as a pack scene, and then we're going to instantiate that one inside of the scene tree under game runner. And so the splash screen of its own volition inside of the node is going to queue free. Start screen is the same. So new game pressed is what I put the signal as whenever I was first writing that one earlier on the practice run. So start screen, new game pressed, just to make sure, copy, new game pressed. I do like how if you double click something in Godot, it highlights that same screen or string at other spots in the code. So game runner, new game pressed. We are Eddie Money. And then finally, function on new game pressed, which is what we connect that signal to. So self on new game pressed, set state equal to map. And if we go up there real quick, we'll see that on map mode, it will go to the function on map. So what's going to happen on map? Maybe I should add node in there for uniformity. I don't know. Oh well. Anyway, function on map. Print load map node here. Current scene address equals map mode. Current scene pack loaded as a pack scene. Instantiated. And that should be good. Yeah, so here we are. We had a little bit of a delay because I had to start recording, so you didn't see the very start of the splash screen. I'm not going to skip through it because we already showed that if I hit a button, it'll go to the next one. I did forget one thing, so I'll show it at the end. I need to add the connection, I need to add the signal when the audio file is done playing to also signal and cue free. So I'll show that one at the end, but right now I'm just going to hit. Here's the starting page. If I go options, exit. If I hit quit, I'll quit. And now for new game, instead of just going gray screen, it's going to drop us down in the middle of the map. So fingers crossed. And here we are. That's how you make a game run a node. You start up a game, and you can apply it to a bunch of other stuff. So say for instance, if you've got a flat out JRPG and you got both a map mode and a combat mode, what I'll demonstrate later is you'll start in the map mode, and then based on a certain circumstance, they'll get communicated up through a signal. You will then load the battle screen on top, or flat out close the map mode if you're tracking coordinates and map for your character. You got a menu mode, something like that in game, very similar. You can open that on top and then close it, and then just go back to focusing on the previous scene. But yeah, I called this one a success. Hope you all enjoyed it. Oh, and sorry, I got one more thing to show you. Why the splash screen didn't go away. Alright, I'm back. Just had one last item to show you for the splash page. So what I forgot to do was to, either when the animation player is done or the audio, let's go animation player. Node, animation finished, double click the signal to connect to this script right here. And I can either go straight to this function, or I can copy and paste this stuff underneath it. So I'll just go ahead and I'll say I'm going to go to this function once the animation's done. That way all of these items go to the same place and I don't have to have the same code repeated. So whether I hit one of these buttons or whether the animation's done playing, it'll go back to the end splash page function. Cool. That's it. So now, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a good audience. If you've got any questions, comments, advice, feel free to throw it into the comments down below. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next video. Y'all take care. Bye.